Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast that comes to you from Paris. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived and he was received at the Orly airport by the Prime Minister of France, Elizabeth Borne. The Prime Minister also got a Tri-Services Guard of Honor. The Prime Minister is currently meeting the President of the Senate. He would be having an official meeting with the Prime Minister of France in a short while from now, and after that all eyes on the community event. Initially the Prime Minister was to address just the Indian diaspora, but the number of people from France who signed up for the event, the government then now has simultaneous translation of the Prime Minister's speech both in French and in English. The Prime Minister is likely to give out his vision not just of India-France friendship, but also India in its 75th year of independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Kal as the Prime Minister calls it, and also talk about the roadmap of making India a developed country by 2047, which is 100 years of India's independence. The conversation with the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Macron describe each other as their close friends. The conversation will not just be about how India and France can partner for the benefit of each other currently, but also for the future generations of these two countries and also for the developing world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emphasized that India wants to be the shoulder to take the global south forward and lend a voice to the global south in conversation with the developed world. A Tri-Services Guard of Honor was accorded to Prime Minister Narendra Modi as his aircraft landed in Paris. The Prime Minister of France, Elizabeth Borne, was there at the airport to receive him. Officials say this is an indication of the importance France attaches to its strategic ties with India. As the two countries celebrate 25 years of the strategic partnership, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron will sit together not just at that private dinner at the Élysée Palace on the 13th of July later tonight, but even in their bilateral summit-level meeting on the 14th of July after the Bastille Day celebrations, where the Prime Minister is the guest of honor to chart out the course of the next phase of this relationship. The effort is to move forward and jointly develop emerging and critical technologies, to partner much closer, not just for the benefit of the people of India and France, but for developing countries. India also wants to emerge as the bridge, as a shoulder for developing countries in their interaction with the developed world.
In a visit that's just about 36 hours, Prime Minister will meet leaders, presidents of the Senate and the National Assembly. He will also later to address the Indian community. President Macron, who is the principal host, organizing a private dinner today evening with former talks tomorrow. There is, of course, the main event, the Bastille Day celebration, which both Prime Ministers will attend. Later in the evening tomorrow, there's a state banquet, as well as interaction with the CEOs and other personalities. All in all, a very packed program, and we will keep on bringing you updates.
This is a moment to celebrate 25 years of our strategic partnership, an extraordinary journey, but it is also a time to look ahead with greater confidence, optimism and ambition to this partnership in the next 25 years and beyond. And it is a partnership that has, in the sweeping changes that are taking place in the world, has become far more salient than before. It isn't just important for our two countries, it's a very vital partnership for the Indo-Pacific region, but also has a very strong global impact.
The CEOs Forum, the Chief Executive Officers Forum, has been revived after 2018, and they will have their first meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron. Now, while the two heads of state and government will lay out their vision, how they want business to business, companies to companies, take this relationship forward, the CEOs are to listen to the two heads of state and government, but will also give out their points. Are they facing any niggles? Are there any issues? How will this relationship be scaled up? What else needs to be done at the policy level, at the level of the government? Before the CEOs forum, I caught up with Tejpreet Chopra, former CEO of General Electric, the CEO of Bharat Light and Power, and energy, especially clean energy, renewable energy is one key area of focus, both of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron. Top CEOs of India and France are together here in Paris to listen to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron, their vision for taking this relationship forward in several sectors. And with me is Tejpreet Chopra, the CEO of Bharat Light and Power, former CEO of GE. TP, welcome on India Today.
Hi Gaurav, good to see you.
Good to see you. So, what are your expectations of the Prime Minister and the French President when the CEOs meet takes place?
Gaurav, first of all, I think this is a fantastic event that's happening out here, and to see our Prime Minister out here lead this relationship. I think for me it's also a special time given the fact that I spent 2 years in France. I think the few areas that I think that CEOs are going to focus on, one is around sustainability and clean energy. I think that's a huge focus area for the world and for our country, given the targets we've set for being net zero emissions by 2070. So there's going to be a lot of discussion around wind, solar, clean energy, the entire energy transition. Two, around EV and mobility in transportation. How do we make the energy transition happen with transportation as well? And the third area I think is around new technologies, on storage, hydrogen. And I know there's a lot of discussions that are happening between our countries. So that's one area.
Is there common ground on achieving these targets? When it comes to the norms that were set in Paris, India is way ahead. But India wants to scale it up. Are we in a position to scale it up? And are France and India working together there?
I think the short answer is yes, Gaurav. I think India has done a phenomenal story in the whole renewable energy transition and clean energy transition. We already have over 160 gigawatts, 100 gigawatts of wind, 100 gigawatts of solar and 60 gigawatts of wind. And I think we are on target on achieving our 500 gigawatt target. I think regarding your second question regarding the relationship between the two countries, I think there's a lot happening. A lot of large corporates like EDF are present in India, NG, so I think Total Energies. So a lot of these large French corporations are doing their part in making and helping our country achieve our targets for net zero emissions.
Are there roadblocks? Are there niggles in taking this forward? And at what level do they need to be sorted out? Will that be brought up before the Prime Minister and the French President?
I'm sure there will be certain discussions. Whenever we're making such a large transition happen all over the world, there are roadblocks and there are challenges that happen on the way. And I'm sure there will be these discussions to make things and smoothen things out as we scale up this huge opportunity.
From the CEOs Forum, are both the Prime Minister and the French President on the same page on clean energy, artificial intelligence, technology transfer is something that India is also looking at. Again, aviation sector, Airbus and India, whether it's the private sector or Air India, major cooperation. How will that be taken forward?
Gaurav, all the areas you just mentioned are absolutely huge areas for cooperation between our countries. In terms of technology, with a lot of work that's happening on AI and India's strength with IT services, I think there's a lot we can do together. On the aviation front, all of us know about the big orders that Indigo's made for new Airbus aircraft and Air India have made. So I think even on the aviation side, there's going to be a huge opportunity on the ecosystem around the growth of aviation in our country. The third area I'll talk about is manufacturing. I think all of us are aware of the huge push the government is making in making more FDI and manufacturing come into our country. And I think that's the third area where a lot can actually happen on the manufacturing front as well.
For joining me here on this India Today special, right next to the Eiffel Tower, Tejpreet Chopra, many thanks.
Gaurav, thanks a lot.
The Prime Minister will be the guest of honor at the Bastille Day Parade, and that's a major signal being sent out by France about the strategic partnership, the journey that the two countries have covered so far and the journey they intend to cover together over the next 25 years. And this is where this relationship becomes extremely critical for India, for France and for the developing world. As far as India is concerned, the focus is not just on the procurement of military hardware, including the Rafale Marines, 3 additional Scorpion submarines to be built at the Mazagaon Docks Limited, which will be very critical in keeping that facility and that technical know-how and knowledge alive, but also to talk about co-development of engines, helicopter engines, not just for the Indian Air Force, but Navy, Army, civilian space in India, aviation sector. The civil aviation sector in India is growing at a very rapid pace. But India's aim is to ensure that this partnership goes far beyond procurement or even co-production. India's aim is thinking about future engines, future technologies, emerging and critical technologies from the drawing board stage all the way to the certification stage, manufacturing and then production for the world. We bring you more on India's vision for this relationship to be taken forward.
After the US, is now France rolling out the red carpet for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Prime Minister Modi is the guest of honor on the French National Day. This year's July 14 Bastille Parade in Paris features India's tri-services contingent marching down the Paris streets.
The Punjab Regiment has participated in both the World War I and World War II. In World War I, September 1915, in Neuve-Chapelle, more than 900 soldiers from the Punjab Regiment shed their blood on the soil of this very own territory that we are standing right now. And so it is a matter of huge pride for me, for my regiment and for the Indian Army to be able to have this amazing opportunity to march on Champs-Élysées on Bastille Day Military Parade.
French honor guards for Prime Minister Modi at the airport. Meetings with various leaders of the French political establishment on schedule. Engagements with the Indian diaspora that eagerly awaits him. A state dinner in honor of the Prime Minister on Thursday evening. A Rajputana Rifles band to perform at the high-profile community event.
हम यहाँ पे इस प्रिपरेशन के लिए हम दिल्ली से तैयारी करके आए थे जो 15 जून से हम तैयारी कर रहे थे ये मार्चिंग एज वेल एज दिस कम्युनिटी इवेंट के लिए प्रैक्टिस कर रहे थे अब यहाँ पे बेसिकली हमारा जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर आ रहे हैं वो एज वेल एज यहाँ पे फ्रांस के प्राइम मिनिस्टर फॉर बोथ हम लोग यहाँ पे दोनों का नेशनल एंथम प्ले करेंगे.
The substance of Prime Minister Modi's France visit is no less. India likely to sign deals to buy 26 Rafale M naval jets and 3 additional Scorpion submarines from France. The bilateral partnership extends to other areas as well.
We're working together very efficiently on energy transition. We're betting together on the energy of the future. You will see some announcements, for example, on hydrogen. We very much think that we should move forward. We have a clear roadmap between our two countries on hydrogen. We want to work on R&D, we want to work on certification.
Reimagining India's French connection. The start of a new chapter in industrial, defense and technological cooperation between the two countries. With Gaurav Sawant and Neha Suryavanshi in Paris, Bureau Report, India Today.
We will continue to track developments on this huge story here in Paris, but that is all I have for you on this India Today special broadcast from France. Many thanks for watching. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.